Hi everybody, I'm back for chapter 8, Bad Baby. It was cool now, but it would be unbearable in a few short hours. Make sure you don't let anything fall off that wagon, my mother called as we set off down the lane. Our wagon didn't carry babies or booze that morning. It hauled trousers and slips and stockings. It was me and Kermit's job to deliver the laundry. Ma washed around town. We did our rounds knocking on doors, dropping off bundles, and picking up the dirty clothes. Sometimes folks gave us a tip, like maybe a cookie or some lemon candy. Kermit liked to linger and talk the ear off the poor person who opened the door. At the firehouse on Grinnell Street, fire station number 3, the doors were wide open. The firemen were sitting around a table, playing dominoes. "Who's winning?" Kermit asked them. "Me." A heavy-set man with no eyebrows gave a small smile. "That's because you cheat, Sim," one of the other men grumbled. Sim got his nickname because everyone said he should have already been in the cemetery on account of all that dangerous work he did. This wasn't the first time he'd burned off his eyebrows. "Hot enough for you?" I asked him. It was our little joke. Sim liked to say that Key West in summer was hotter than some of the fires he'd ever been in. I pulled out a bundle of clean undershirts and I handed them Sim. "Thank your ma for us, will you?" Sim told me. Ma took in some of their washing for free because the firefighters of station number 3 never closed their doors like the other firehouses did when their firefighters weren't getting paid. She said they were our heroes. "I will," I said. "The next house belongs to my favorite client, Mrs. Alberry. She had apple cheeks and wore her chestnut hair in a bob like the Hollywood movie stars. She would have been beautiful, except for those big dark circles under her eyes. The red-faced bawling baby in her arms was the one who gave those to her. Little Dizzy." "Hiya, Mrs. Alberry," Kermit said. "Hi, Dizzy." Mrs. Alberry gave a weary smile. "Hello, boys." "We brought your laundry," I said. "Oh, thank you, Bean," she said. "There's some fresh divinity in the tin by the sofa. Help yourself." I didn't have to be told twice. Mrs. Alberry made the best divinity candy in all of Key West. It was chocolate and sugar spun into sweet little dollops that melted in your mouth. Dizzy cried louder. "Dizzy's a little fussy today," Mrs. Alberry said apologetically. "Fussy? I've seen a lot of screaming babies in my time, but little Dizzy took the top prize, shrieking, red eyes, with feet kicking. That kid was a bad baby, no doubt." "What's wrong with him?" I asked. "He's got a terrible rash," she said, and lifted his long white cotton dress to show the baby's bungee. The skin was red and chapped and raw. I said. "Can I go to your kitchen for a minute? I think I know something's going to help." "Sure," she told me. I dug around in the cabinet while Kermit talked Mrs. Alberry's ear off. I found a tin of cornstarch and shook some into a teacup, and I added a little water, and I made it into a paste. "Try this on his little hiney," I told her. She looked at it dubiously. "What is that?" "Secret formula. My mother uses it on her hands, and it always works," I told her. So she gave a shrug. "I'll try anything at this point." When we left her house, the sun was burning high in the sky, and the air was so thick with humidity we could barely breathe. Our last stop was at a house where we didn't like to linger. It belonged to Nan Philly, the meanest lady in Key West. Nana Philly was notorious. She made grown men cry. She chased 3 pastors out of town. Folks whispered that she's so mean, she must be related to the devil himself. Black cats crossed the road just to get away from her. We parked the wagon on the street, and I started to organize the bundle of clothes into a neat pile. Heaven forbid that the clothes got wrinkled. "I'm melting," Kermit complained. "Go knock on the door," I told him. "The faster we deliver this laundry, the faster we can get in the shade." He climbed the porch steps and knocked, looking back at me. "Maybe we can go take a dip in the ocean." Just then the door banked open and a wave of water flew through the air, splashing onto Kermit. Nana Philly stood there holding an empty bucket. Kermit gasped like a fish choking. "What are you kids doing here?" she snapped. "Delivering laundry," Kermit said weakly. He looked down his shirt. There was a red and brown smear on it now. What was in that bucket? Dirty water from washing up, maybe some blood and guts. I'm butchering chickens for stew. Kermit looked stricken. Blood? Guts? You shouldn't have gotten in the way. I was tossing out the yard. Besides, what are you complaining about? At least the water cooled you off. Did I mention that Nana Philly was also our grandmother? Well, here's your laundry, I told her, passing it off. I grabbed Kermit's hand and tugged him behind me. We started walking fast down the street, pulling the empty wagon. Where is my girdle? Nana Philly demanded, but we didn't look back. You no good children! You come back here right this instant! She hollered. Then we turned the corner and we were gone. A few mornings later, Mrs. Albury turned up at our front door with little Dizzy in one arm and a basket in the other. Helen, my mother said, was something wrong with your laundry? I'm here about beans. My mother put her hands on her hips and she looked at me. What did he do now? Mrs. Albury spoke before I could defend myself. Your son is a lifesaver. A lifesaver, my mother repeated. Mrs. Albury nodded vigorously. He cured little Dizzy's diaper rash. She pulled a tin out of the basket and passed it to me. I opened it and looked inside. It was full of delicious chocolate divinity. I made this for you, she said, and beamed. Thanks, I said, beaming. No, thank you, Beams. You've got a real way with babies. Then she kissed me on the cheek and whirled off. We just all stood there a minute. My mother gave me an amused look. Real way with babies, huh? Well, then you get to watch Buddy all this afternoon. So that was the chapter about the bad baby, and that was Dizzy. And now we're on chapter 9. It's called Good Help. And I'm going to put a couple of pictures on the end of the video here today so you can see some of Key West back in the 1930s. And there might be a couple from late 1920s. But that was about the time that Beans and his friends were hanging around. And I've been wondering about going to the ocean. I mean, it's a beautiful place with beaches. I wonder why they've not went to the ocean before. See you next time. Bye.